Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Hugo and Jake. Welcome back. We're here to talk about something I've actually been wanting to talk about on this show for a long time, because it's a show that I used to watch as a kid. One of those Christian shows that somewhere sits in sort of the back of your mind and your subconscious, and then something will bring it up and you're like, oh my god, I did watch that. So today...
I have never... This is my first experience, and he didn't prep me.
Today we're watching McGee and Me. So,
Didn't even spit on it.
Without further ado, here we go.
It's a new study saying that might lead to herpes or gonorrhea or something.
So for the uninitiated, McGee and Me was the brainchild of Ken Johnson and Bill Myers and was produced by Focus on the Family. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because we've talked about them before in our review of the film For the Bible Tells Me So, a film that spends some time looking at Focus on the Family and their efforts to block same-sex marriage in the United States. Also, they made Veggietales, so if you've ever considered if Bob the Tomato and Larry the Cucumber had a thing on the side off camera, my guess is no, since roasted vegetables are not allowed to host TV shows. Anyway, this is in 1989, 4 years before they got us into talking produce. They produced this. I can't even get the game Mousetrap to work. This kid made a fucking Rube Goldberg machine to make sure his pencil could get sharpened.
You have a better solution?
No. This one's out of lead, but you get the idea.
Oh, I thought every kid had the Rube Goldberg stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even have Mousetrap. All I got from my parents was a widow's peak and recessive genes for HPV.
Do you know how to spot the signs of childhood onset schizophrenia?
This kid's parents don't. That's why he's surprised it comes back.
Yeah.
The meds wore off. He's like,
Whoa,
whoa,
McGee!
Whoa, the voices!
Yeah, you gotta stop taking those pills, man! Your parents don't want us together! Hey, let's go to the school and take a knife! Wow, can you believe this in the first episode of Saved by the Bell aired only 3 months apart?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Because the Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need.
Wait. What is that?
Let me explain.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, the show is about a kid with an imaginary cartoon friend he drew that has come to life, so the episodes usually start with a bad cartoon short shoving the biblical message of the episode down your throat, thus making watching the actual episode redundant. It was 89, they had to get all the Coke ideas out before the 90s started.
I graduated to crack in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's funny unless you're black. That really affected you.
Wasn't it funny when that new form of smokable cocaine destroyed your communities?
Thanks, FBI!
Even when walking through the dark valley of death,
If you need to label your jokes, they are not funny.
Wait, are you gonna...
your goodness and unfailing kindness shall be with me all of my life.
this is not a joke. Don Reimer, who wrote the teleplay for this episode, writer of the original Disney Channel movie, Under Wraps. One of your favorite Disney Channel original movies.
He wrote like 7 high karate jokes in that movie.
Yes, he did. Now, on the other side, he did also write all 3 Big Mama films.
Oh, with Martin Lawrence?
Yeah.
Oh. The crack plan didn't work out, FBI. We still got Big Mama.
This isn't the high point, but it's not the low point either. I think we can all agree Disney Channel original movie was this guy's peak. Okay.
Not bad.
You know, when you hit 14, something weird must happen to you. Because my sister's been acting strange ever since. Not that she was ever normal to begin with.
You mean like how your sister went from having crushes on boy bands to wanting to be choked in the backseat of a Buick by Kyle, the quarterback of the football team? That's the change she went through, Nick. She's 14. She's different now. Yeah, her vagina started to bloom.
The number for the banquet hall is...
On the refrigerator.
And the number for Dr. Walters is...
On the refrigerator.
And if anybody calls us, you tell them that we are
On the refrigerator.
Is this a prequel to the biracial pastoral bromance?
No, one of the guys from that's from Africa. This kid's clearly American, and this is 89, so he's probably in Africa finding out AIDS is a thing. I don't know much about Africa in the 90s.
I know he dropped like parachutes of food on him. Didn't work.
Will this fix the...
Didn't take.
Will this increase your T-cells?
Wow. No. They didn't know much, though.
This makes me think of that meme format where he's pointing at the butterfly. Is this
help? Is this help?
Mom and Dad were off to the State Press Club Awards. Louis was spending the weekend, and Dad was having tie problems.
our little secret.
This is kind of a funny story. This is true story, by the way. As a child, when I watched this episode, the guy clearly, as an adult, I recognize he's struggling to tie a tie.
Sure.
His wife gives him the clip-on. As a kid, I didn't understand what was happening because, I don't know, maybe I didn't understand the concept of a clip-on tie, maybe because I didn't think, like, adults ever used them. The concept of an adult not being able to tie a tie was confusing to me. So that, like, interaction right there, I thought for some reason this was some sort of innuendo or joke that went over my head that I would get as an adult.
Oh, well, it kind of. I guess it kind of worked out.
I guess.
Well,
I
it
thought
turned out to be for a tie.
I thought it would be about, like
sex.
dicks, though.
Right,
Not his inability to tie things like a person.
I don't know. I can't tie a bow tie. I've never tried, though.
I'd imagine that means you can't tie a bow tie.
Right. I'm just saying
I know. I'm
feel
just
like I
saying.
could figure
I'd be
it out.
real impressed if you were just like bow tie.
very intuitive. Yeah.
McGee and me's dad's an idiot.
Are you sure you don't mind having Sarah watch Renee while we're at the banquet?
Oh, no. No problem. What's one more munchkin?
God damn it, the preferred nomenclature is people of diminutive stature or people exploited by the wizard formerly known as Oz. Get your shit together, Tori!
Her name's Tori.
Does it matter?
Okay.
I just hate that we're gonna be 2 hours away.
Everything's under control. Any final instructions?
Yeah. Don't forget to take out the dog. For good.
McGee's first line of the episode, and it's advocating for putting the main character's dog down. Your titular character, kids.
Do they have a relationship? Does the dog chase him?
I think? I don't even remember.
He's just a fucking sociopath.
He's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm kind of on board with the this is schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you should kill the dog! This is step 1 towards serial killer.
Son of Sam.
Things with vaginas are scared of rats! We got them! Well, we deserve that.
I think I forgot to give them the Murphy's phone number.
You gave them everybody's phone number. Next time, you might as well just hand her the phone book.
They'll be fine, don't worry.
Oh, Oh, you're right. You're right. I should just forget about it and enjoy myself.
Honestly, 2-1. I'm thinking this might turn out to be like an eyes wide shut ballroom scene. I'm game.
Yeah, I was hoping for it. What's she hiding under that judge dress?
A lot of bush.
Slurp.
Prepared a few general comments just in case.
Well, you should have. You did tremendous work on that story.
That story. Wow, couldn't even come up with a fake story for this. Fuck it, I'll do it right now. Congrats on that story about that giant creepy blue bookman who went Heaven's Gate on his child harem. I'm just saying you have options.
You did tremendous work on that story.
I think that lady's trying to fuck the dad. I think there's an affair occurring here. This is getting sultry. She's already got a pearl necklace, too. So.
Why would you want to fuck him? He was the principal in Amazing Spider-Man.
Was he?
Yes.
Can't tell if you made it up.
Okay, we only get so many animated cutaways to McGee per episode for budgetary reasons. Was him being slightly wet funny enough to justify all those South Korean sweatshop hours?
Is this anime?
Yes.
Sarah, just because you say it's over doesn't mean that it has to be over. I'm not just some little kid you can boss around.
Yes, you are.
Oh god, she found his fetish!
Why is it people always call it quits right before you get back at them? We need something really big to get even.
This kid knows dryers exist, right? Or is like dryer blindness a symptom of Munchkin schizophrenia?
1/1000. Maybe we should check on everybody downstairs. Sometimes a sudden thunderstorm can be really scary. To some people.
They'd probably appreciate a couple of men like us around.
Gonna have to stop you right there, buddy! We got some grade A toxic masculinity! Grade A! You're going to the Shies wagon, bud! Shies wagon for you!
I don't want to go.
Shies wagon!
Facts don't care about your feelings!
Look at that! Wow! That's neat.
What is your major malfunction?
Like I said, this is 89. You gotta let the coke and bad ideas flow before Poland pulls out of the Warsaw Pact.
It's busy.
We'll try again.
So at this point, the parents are worried about their children. I'd like to point out, though, as an audience, we know there's a threat of a tornado because the title of the episode is Twister and Shout. But at this point, the parents are basically concerned their kids are gonna get maybe wet in a storm.
Yep.
At this juncture, I'd like to stop and congratulate the screenwriter on the Big Mama trilogy, because as I can see, that was a big deal for you, and I think if you haven't sent Martin Lawrence a thank you card, now would be the time.
A tornado watch has been issued for Eastfield and Ashton counties until midnight tonight. Conditions are favorable for the formation of a tornado. The National Weather Service urges residents in these areas to seek shelter and be on the alert for high winds and flash flooding. And now back to tonight's feature, Gone with the Wind.
All this and more on your local source for AccuWeather forecast and dramatically ironic programming.
Because it's Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Which is about Nazis, which is very ironic.
What's with you?
First we're munchkins, then we're melted. Now we're waiting on a tornado. What's next? Flying monkeys?
No, what is next is not flying monkeys. tornadoes are no laughing matter. They are very serious business. Really, safety is key. So please, in case of a tornado, and this is a PSA to younger fans, find the lowest point in your house. Maybe a basement if you have one, a closet or something like that. If you don't have a basement though, find a bathtub. Open some windows on either side of the house. You find a bathtub and you cover yourself in a tarp. It protects you from the glass flying around. Hold on, and then you know, if you need to, hire Philip Seymour Hoffman to drive the van, and then tie yourself to Helen Hunt with a belt. And just worst case scenario, watch Carrie Ells drive directly into an F5, mother of all tornadoes. And then it should be pretty safe. You should be good to go.
I'm gonna be honest, that was about 30% safety advice, 70% the plot of Twister. But there are some kernels of help in there.
I'm not familiar with that reference.
I am gonna kill myself.
Go away! But we've come to see the Lizard of Ooze.
What is going on here? Why am I watching this? Why have you forced this on me? Explain.
Focus on the family. Someone in there understands that kids like cartoons. They don't understand, however, that why cartoons, for instance, made by like Chuck Jones, are successful is because they're actually funny, well-written, well-directed, well-thought-out pieces of animation. So this just becomes bad jokes and Christianity animated edition, and they throw that into the episodes randomly to hopefully keep the kids, I don't know, engaged? I'd assume they'd do the whole show animated if they could afford it, which is why they later did Veggietales, but at this point, the best they can do is cartoon, pay attention! Okay, they'll maybe ride that attention for a while during the boring live action scenes. Cartoon! And then they ride that right till the end of the show.
Okay. That formula actually makes sense to me. That's fine. The cartoon makes zero sense. Still, no context you provided has illuminated that. But
Gasp!
Also a true story about McGee and me in this episode in particular. As a child, I had a reoccurring nightmare because of this scene of being chased by a sentient storm that was out to get me because, like, again, if you watch this scene, he does, like, an actual scream and there's no resolution in the cartoon as to what happens.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Not as scary as being chased by Big Mama. So.
Thankful for that. Maybe there is a god.
No, certainly not.
Oh yeah, Big Mama exists.
Yeah.
Herb from Channel 7 just told me they have sighted a tornado north of Eastfield.
Oh, great. And the kids are there all alone.
Well, there's got to be some way to get through.
Not for a few hours at least.
So, she gets her big acting break, right? Gets her big scene, gets some lines, and her only direction here was shake your head like a human being, and this was her best effort.
Can you cast non-SAG actors if they're lizard people instead of humans?
They don't get the cards. Not eligible. Gotta be a people.
The police won't even let the mini cams out.
Can't believe this. We're at a press club banquet. 200 professionals who spend their lives communicating with other people, and we can't get a message 100 miles.
David, we've got to do something. Will the kids even know what to do?
That's right, kids watching this. Back in the 90s, every day could be your last because there were no cell phones. There was no one to call if the phone lines went down. And it would take hours, if not days, to find your bloated, rotting corpse covered in a cascade of 3D Doritos and Dunkaroos. It was hard there.
We had Wonder Balls, though. Those are pretty cool.
Nah, then a kid choked on them. They had Zima, though. That's back. How you're banking on the nostalgia of 90s kids who should not have been drinking Zima. What is that about?
I think it's...
That's not for my mom, who was drinking Zima.
I think it's more for people who are maybe not old enough to drink in the 90s, but had seen Zima commercials or knew as a pop culture thing, so they're
real
curious.
bad.
I think it's a curiosity nostalgia more than a nostalgia. Does that make sense?
Bring back Tamagotchis and then we'll talk.
They're back.
No, they're fucking not.
Yes, they are.
Tamagotchis?
I was at the store the other day.
Yeah, but like an app. I don't want like a thing.
Oh, no, that's like an original one.
Give me an app.
That probably exists. Tamagotchi. My Tamagotchi forever. Yep, there you go.
By Bandai Namco.
There you go. And
those don't look like Tamagotchis.
I mean, that's what they look like if they're not, 8-bit black and white sprites.
No, these are terrible.
All right, well, that's what you asked for, so...
Nah, that's not good. Never mind. My childhood was actually really terrible now.
It wasn't.
I guess the only thing we can really do is keep praying.
That's something I haven't done in a while.
I don't mean to be this guy, but if there is a god, he kills people with tornadoes all the time, right? Including Christians who almost certainly prayed to be spared moments before their death. I don't have a punchline, so instead, for your entertainment, please enjoy. Do we have a clip? Do we have a clip?
We have a clip.
Okay, I'm being told we have a clip. Here is a clip from...
Yeah, I said we had a clip.
Okay, I'm being told we have a clip.
Oh, God.
So enjoy this clip from Big Mama's House 3, like father, like son.
You just...
Now, if you would kindly just drop the sheet.
Say what?
Whoops! Have you indulged yourself yet?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Is it, though?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
I heard somewhere that we're supposed to hide in a ditch.
Great idea. Take a camera. Maybe you'll get some great aerial shots of the neighborhood.
I think we're supposed to open a window.
No, open a door.
No, open 2 windows.
It's actually a myth, It doesn't depressurize your house during a tornado to open windows. You don't need to do that.
to believe that.
Yeah, it's not true. This kid, though, I don't blame. He does think cartoons are real, so good for him for recognizing that, houses have windows. I don't know. The fact that he's functioning at all is very impressive to me.
There's bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Cobble it together. Cobble together a life. Like Willie Ames. Or Martin Lawrence.
Lord, please help me to trust you and not be afraid.
You're asking help from a storm from a guy who killed the whole world with a storm. I was led to believe this person was smart.
When?
The Rube Goldberg. He's invention-y. The implied intelligence is there, but maybe it's just the manic actings of a schizophrenic.
Pee Wee Herman thought his bike was in the basement of the Alamo. And he also had a Rube Goldberg machine.
Didn't it end up being in the basement of the Alamo?
No, the Alamo does not have a basement.
Oh, that would make sense.
We had this big heating grate in the hallway. And every time the heat came on, it would make this creaking sound. I'd lie in my bed and just imagine that the creaking was someone coming down the hallway.
It's funny, but now that I think about it, I never really heard the vent when Dad was home.
Neither did I.
Dads can't save you from tornadoes. Superman's dad couldn't save him from tornadoes. Superman's dad, Kevin Costner, that is.
Do you think Superman's dad's name is Kevin Costner?
Yeah. And his wife's name is Martha, just like Batman's mom.
Okay. I was actually listening to a campaign ad the other day, and it was a conservative running for conservative Michigan farmers. And I got so mad at how patronizing this ad was, I yelled at the ad and said, "Who the fuck do you think you are, you non-Field of Dreams having Kevin Costner look-alike motherfucker?"
You said that out loud in your car?
Afterwards, I realized...
Your days are weird.
I know.
Early on in his life, he was a Republican, and then later on, he became a Barack Obama supporter.
I care nothing about the life of Kevin Costner or
anything he's ever done.
Do you know he has
7 children by 4 women?
Someone has...
Set 4 people.
4 people have
let
consensually had sex with Waterworld, the man?
Not just that, they let him seed in them. It's just the stark reality of the world we live in, friend. Kevin Costner has come in people, and Coney existed.
Had they seen The Postman?
Probably not. It was early on.
They should have. I think legally Kevin Costner should be like, before we move on, I'm legally required to show you this movie.
It was in The Postman. Yeah. Mr. Brooks is good, though. Watch Mr. Brooks.
I never noticed the creaking sound until my parents got divorced.
In case you're wondering, yes, this character brings up her parents' divorce in every single episode she is in. She is in 9 of 13 episodes.
Divorce. It's good. You should do it if you want to.
But maybe we're so scared because we think we're on our own. But we're not.
So what you're saying is that God's watching over us right now?
This episode actually, I think, brings up accidentally a pretty cogent point. When these children are all sitting around in this storm and they're very afraid of the tornado showing up, it actually very much, I feel like, shows how people, in times of when they have no agency in a situation, people can do nothing to stop a storm
Especially
coming.
children, though.
Especially children. It shows how people use religion to cope in those circumstances.
Yeah, and it accidentally substitutes the father, all of their fathers, for safety blankets of sorts, and when he's not around, you go to God.
Yeah, so I find it very interesting that, without intending to, they kind of point out the modus operandi of religion in general.
Yeah.
I'll get the branch out. Louis, there's some cardboard in the kitchen closet. See if that'll cover it.
This branch breaking their window is the climax of the episode, by the way. Despite Twister being in the title, it never comes anywhere near their house. I'd feel cheated if I had paid for this.
You are paying for this.
We're all paying. At least we get cheesy cleaning up the mess montage.
The bill comes due.
You'll never be alone. It's what I tell myself every night. You're never on your own. Though I know it's true, it's hard to see.
You did good, kid.
Thanks, McGee.
Now scoot over and quit hogging the bag.
For reference, if a tree branch breaks a window and shatters glass everywhere, even if you clean it up, probably don't put your sleeping bag directly under that window, because there's a second window next to it that could also break. Even your weird cartoon delusions, I feel like, should have sent up a red flag on that one, but his parents are white and it's the 90s. He has good health insurance.
You know, when I think about it, I've really got it pretty good. I live in a nice house. I've got parents who love me. 2 sisters who don't bug me too much.
He has 2 sisters? He has the 14-year-old one.
Yeah.
And then another one? Because the other one was the fair lady's kid. And then the black kid is not a sister at all. He's just a friend. Where was she? Is she in this one? Is she a casualty? Did she get in the tornado? Is she gone? Where did she go?
Don't worry about
I've never seen her. Don't worry about it. He said he had 2 of them. Where is she kept?
There's 11 more episodes. Chill out.
Seriously, where the fuck is she? Is she older?
Maybe.
Is she young? You don't know?
I don't remember.
What the fuck?
It's a Richie Cunningham situation.
I don't know what that is!
In Happy Days, originally Richie had an older brother, and one day he went up the stairs and was never seen again.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, even to the point in later episodes, they reference Richie Cunningham as, like, not having a brother. He died in Vietnam? I don't know. Korean War? Who knows? Anyway. And then...
She got caught up in the crack epidemic is what happened.
Yeah. Don't smoke your cocaine, kids. Anyway.
And friends that I can count on. But then something like this comes along and I realize how much I take it all for granted.
If a storm was enough to shake the foundation of his solid 90s middle upper class white existence, he's gonna take 9/11 like shit. Can I just point that out? This dude is definitely wearing a MAGA hat today and like, yeah, I gotta burn the Muslims.
You gotta burn them.
You used to have a fucking cartoon character that hung out with me. Now I look for child rapists in the basements of pizza parlors.
This reminds me of I had a teacher. I went to public school, small town school.
Yeah.
And right after 9/11, so I was in, like 8th grade. I had a teacher, and I didn't realize how fucking wrong this is to do. There was an animation that went... The internet was weird back then. There was an animation that went around. And it was... do you remember? It was the... Come, Mr. Taliban, Taliban...
Daylight come and me drop a da bomb was
yeah,
the video.
Yeah. He showed that to us, and we all laughed as the Muslims died. And looking back, because I had no context, I didn't even know Islam was a thing. Really, yeah. It didn't come up a lot in my 90s fucking white farmhouse life. And then some planes things. So yeah.
America, you have a lot of shit to work through. Please acknowledge it. Anyway, that's it for this episode. There's 11 other episodes of McGee and Me. On top of that, they did several other series.
Do you know what's worse about this than anything?
What?
It's not so absurd. Like, Gaither's Pond just... the jokes write themselves almost.
Yeah.
It's got that sort of mundane, everyone gets a shot at making a sitcom in the 90s feel.
Yep.
That like, oh man, it's rough to get through, because I have no nostalgia for this whatsoever.
You know what's weird? Focus on the Family, originally, this was like a DVD video release type thing. Yeah. Video originally, obviously.
By the way, they're very famous for being fuck gays.
Yes, and if you ever have any of these DVDs of Bible Men or McGee and Me or anything from Focus on the Family, send it to this P.O. box, because we will do it. But, anyway, it was a movie thing, but then ABC actually played the first episode of McGee and Me as a pilot to try and see if it would be picked up.
How'd it go?
Not well. But even in the original airing of the pilot on ABC, they removed all specific references to Christianity. So they were like, I don't know, a show about a kid with a cartoon character, fine, but, you know, you gotta get rid of the Jesus stuff.
Imagine if Tommy Lahren wasn't just a zygote when that happened. And her outrage over them stripping McGee and Me of its original intended message.
But then it did get picked up by a Christian channel and ran for a while. It ran from 89 to 95, and they only made 12 episodes overall. That's how these Christian things tend to go. They have a long period that they are active, but they only make like 10 over that period. Is it
because of the money?
It's a money thing.
Because Christians are at no shortage of pumping money into the machine of propaganda.
Because Christian media is such a niche audience, and I don't mean that in the sense that Christians are niche. I mean, Christians are fucking everywhere in the United States. But I mean, if you're the kind of person who specifically looks out Christian videos for your children...
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
You're a niche audience. So I think you can actually make more money on direct-to-video that way than if you were to license it out to some other thing and run it during the daytime. At least that's my thought. Because, like, you buy a McGee and Me tape, it's like $20 in the 90s.
Right.
Anyway. So, I guess that's it.
I didn't like this.
I had some...
Yeah.
It was weirdly nostalgic. This is what I think of when I think almost like... How do I put this? In my head, the 90s, because I was like 6 at the most, at the height of it, in my head, the 90s is like a blur of vaporwave sounding music and this visual aesthetic. Like VHS tapes in white suburbia.
The credits that they run to bookend the episodes with the cartoon, and then there's like a blob of differently shaded color, where there's a triangle. That's very 90s. The rest of this, like, this entire episode feels like what should be crammed into the 5-minute setup of a Goosebumps episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially the film style, and like the way the parents act. None of it comes across as natural.
This is like if R.L. Stine was a Christian children's author.
Yeah, it really is, but without any of the... Like, I give R.L. Stine some shit.
R.L. Stine wrote a lot of stories, though.
A whole lot. And boy, Are they bad, but none as bad as this?
They're good for young children learning to read and who want to read, like, little novellas that have a story. It's a step between a picture book and an actual book, like a Harry Potter. I know that's still a children's book, but you know what I mean.
Why can't we respect children that want to read? It fucking drives me nuts. Like, as a kid, they're like, read more. And I was like, all my books are terrible. Give me something good. Well, Harry Potter comes out. I finally like a book.
Kids like Goosebumps. I like Goosebumps. I like the Choose Your Own Adventure Goosebumps. Those
Choose Your Own Adventure, any book was good, but it's because I finally had some fucking agency in their terrible stories. Seriously, books bored the shit out of me as a kid.
Man,
my reading level was pretty high. I don't know if my parents... I had a lot of books around growing up, so that's probably why they did a good job with that. Yeah. So, like, I could absorb real books, but none of the books that my teachers wanted to give me had anything.
Yeah. Ugh. You know what's weird? I've been into... You know how much I'm into time travel fiction? That started, like, way before I'd ever seen, like, a time travel movie or anything. I actually read some of the first books that were, like, not picture books I read were these time travel choose your own adventure books, and that's how I got into that. And that and The Time Machine by H.G. Wells.
You read The Whole Time Machine by H.G. Wells as
I
a
tried
child?
to.
Oh, yeah.
The parts I understood, I enjoyed.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's not an easy read for
most
an adult.
of it I didn't get, but like the parts where he's like where it's like describing him flashing forward and stuff. I was like,
sure,
oh, that's neat visuals and stuff. I should actually read that as an adult now. I bet I'd like it.
It's okay. I mean, you know, it's so.
I bet I'd like it as a foundational text in that genre.
I think the film is easier to digest than the book at this point, just based on how much media is based on it.
I've seen the one from the 60s or 70s, and that one's pretty good for the time.
Anyway, this was McGee and Me.
Yeah. We'll talk about other ones. If anyone has any particular McGee and Me's you want us to talk about...
Or memories of McGee and Me.
Let me know, because I will more so know what you're talking about than Jake. He won't know at all, actually. And yeah, we'll try and do those episodes. I know there was another show. I forget the title, so if someone else knows, let me know. Also by Focus on the Family. Similar premise. There was a babysitter who babysat 2 kids, and every episode they go on some sort of animated adventure, sort of like Mary Poppins, where they'd go into like a painting, or or Blue's Clues, or whatever you want to say, and they'd be animated for a while. If someone knows the name of that, let me know. Until next time... Oh, no. Let's do all the other stuff. Patreon, Twitter, other stuff. Until next time, Hugo.
Jake.
Hugo and Jake. Bye, everyone.